I think there's something about that I sort of continue to feel young when I'm around young people. I just have no sense that I ever want to go into a retirement community, for instance, because there's an exuberance about life that I continue to be reminded about with the 8-year-olds and the 15-year-olds and all that struggling with life. Now, some of it, maybe sort of the sadistic nature as well. I don't know. I remember when we had the RLC here, there was a wonderful English teacher who all the kids respected and really liked, even though she was probably the hardest teacher on any of them. I mean, she had demands, but the expectations were clear, and they worked hard to get their stuff in for her. I had the chance to have a conversation with her once about why she taught 7th grade, because it's not a popular grade to teach. In fact, I was reminded that my one semester in college, when I was an education major, I had the head of the department who, in almost every lecture, would somehow manage to slip in the statement, "Whatever you do, don't get caught teaching 7th grade." But anyway, so I asked her one time, I said, why are you teaching 7th grade? You seem to enjoy it. She said, I trained as a 2nd grade teacher. She said, I was a 2nd grade teacher until they accessed they didn't have enough 2nd grade classes, and they told us we were out unless we wanted to take one of these other grades that was available. And I said, what's available? And they said 7th grade, and I said, I'll take it. I had kids to support. And she said, but I wouldn't trade for the world now. She said, it's more fun to just sit here and watch those hormones attack those poor little innocent creatures. There's something about the age, and I think each age has that kind of fascination. I love now doing the 8, 9, and 10-year-olds because there's this kind of wide-eyed awe of what's going on. You get them out in the world, and there's a thatch ant hill up there on the hill behind us where the kids will sometimes spend hours just watching the ants, putting out a twig and watching the ants move the twig out of their row so they can be back about their business, or take them out and I got some pictures this summer of the kids with the frogs, holding the frogs, having a frog hair on their arm, and let me just sort of sit there and then hop off. And there's just this fascination with the discovery in that 8, 9, 10-year-old group. And then you get in the next group up, and they're trying to figure out, what is it that makes me unique? What is it makes me different? I don't want to just be my mama's little boy anymore. I want to be me. And watching them go through those convolutions of self-doubt and victories and coming through, look what I did. Even the younger ones, that's great. There's this big rock at the lake where we go with the 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. It's maybe 12 feet high and about the size of a city bus. And there's a way to get up there, but it's a little scary the first time you get up there. But by the end of the time we've been there, they've all managed to conquer that rock, and it's look at me, look what I did. I've got a picture of me sitting on top of that rock, and the same thing is true. I just ran into the high school group. I took supplies over to them last week, and here are these kids, some of whom have never been with a pack on their back before. We did 45 miles. We started at the mouth of one river and went up and over to the trailhead on another river, up over the pass, both directions. We did it, 45 miles. I was telling David, who came in a few minutes ago, well, your grandson, he was complaining a bit at the first of the trip, I understand, about how heavy the pack was. One of the staff members was sharing with me that the day before they got back to the end of the trail, that as he put the pack on one morning, he says, "I don't know whether it's me or this pack, but it seems to have gotten lighter." Just those kind of victories that you see kids the chance to sort of come alive.